Okay, I am recording this. I guess it automatically records to Twitch, and then if I want my own copy, which I do, I have to enable that now. Okay, so we are recording. That way, if you miss this, you can watch it later. But I'm not talking to you if that's the case. But I am because you're watching it later. But I'm not because you're here. Anyway, while I was drawing this comic, it's 57 pages. My burden to carry around with me because I have a desk here. I have my drafting desk, but I would carry the shit around with me all over the house because I just don't like to sit still. I have that shit where I just can't sit in a chair the right way. I can't sit in one place for too long. You don't have to set up or Twitch will keep the VOD. Yeah, no, I'm recording. So anyway, I carry my shit all around. So as the comic lengthened, as I printed out more pages, and I'll show you guys my process because it'll, you know, I'll do it today. But I've just got like this massive book of I filled an entire one of these, and then I filled part of this one. So I guess I need to make more comics to fill this one up. But anyway, massively heavy. I do my pages at 11 by 17, which is like the size I'm most comfortable with. And they're very burdensome after a while. Anyway, so this is the drawing I'm going to do. I did this little kind of wedding portrait. I think you can probably see that on here. And then I've tightened it up a little bit just to get everybody where I want them, kind of get the emotion of the drawing down. And I've talked about this before, like the challenge always is doing that first drawing where there's a lot of feeling in it, there's a lot of emotion, and then trying to keep that emotion from just draining right out of it in the final. And it happens all the time. And I tend to believe that the first draft is the best. Not with everything, but with a lot of things. The first draft is the best. And you'll know if it's not. But a lot of the time, I will scribble something off and then try desperately to preserve that little scribble until I get to the very end because it's not going to get any better than that. That was the feeling. And now I just need something that looks professional and, readable. So just trying to keep the feeling from, falling like sand through my fingers. Anyway, I'm going to work on this for a little bit and I'll see how far I get with it. If I can finish the pencils on it, which, these are the pencils. If I can finish this, then I'll print it out and do a little ink on paper. I'll show you guys my printouts too. I have this whole system. Here's a bad page that I didn't use. Hopefully you've already read the story, so this won't spoil you. But I did this one of Hannah's wedding, but it's just like the drawings didn't end up looking the way I wanted it to look. But you can see all these little blue drawings. The scanner does not pick these up. It only picks up this good solid ink. So that's how I do it. That's my little secret. It's not a secret. I've been back when I made more content about the process. I talked about this all the time, so this will be a surprise to absolutely no one. Anyway, let's draw. How the fuck are y'all doing? How are y'all doing? I just had Thanksgiving yesterday, as many of us Americans did, and it was just me and my husband and son this year, which I gotta say, I wished it would be a little bit more of a extended family thing. Oh my God, Heidi. Heidi is having a little asthma attack. It's not. She just she's a terrier and she sometimes for whatever reason she just can't force the air through her nose and she has to go to get it out and it sounds horrible. Anyway, that's what that was. I kind of wish that it had been more of a family thing, a big family thing, but we're doing that for Hanukkah in 4 weeks, so we certainly don't need to have the family here right now. And I liked that I didn't need to fully get my house in order. I could kind of just, you know, have a decent enough looking house. And it was just me and my husband and my little boy. And we had a lovely, lovely little dinner. It was so great. I tried out, I've been test kitchening this will be interesting to absolutely no one unless you're vegan, but I've been test kitchening this roast. The roast, there's no meat in it. It's made of like, again, this is disgusting if you're not a vegan, I know, but it's made of like seitan, which is basically just bread. It's like seasoned bread that is like seasoned to taste like meat. Like if you've ever like had a piece of like hearty bread and you've been like, this is a little meat-like actually, or like a little cheesy, or like a little like the texture just reminds you of meat. Well, that's what I eat. I eat that most because it's like the nutritional profile is closest to meat, and also it tastes good. So it tastes good to me. Me and me alone. It's disgusting to everyone. I don't know why, because it's just bread. It's just bread, people. But I love it. And anyway, I was experimenting. So I did a roast with it was kind of like a hybrid seitan and tofu thing. And the tofu actually like really helps keep the moisture in, because otherwise it's like kind of dry and like rubbery. So gross to describe this. I'm so sorry. But the tofu kind of moistens it up, and with the right seasoning, I used this recipe book called Crafting Seitan, and it was like specifically a turkey roast. So you have to like make this dough, and then you have to simmer it in this like this broth that you make that tastes like turkey. It's like it's got like sage and all the mirepoix and all the delicious things that help flavor a turkey. It's got all that shit in it, and so I had to boil that, chill it overnight. Very elaborate, but less elaborate than like slaughtering and defeathering a turkey would be if I was, considering that it's made from scratch. Not that elaborate. Adjust emote. I don't know what that is. Opinion on stuffing, best side or just soggy bread? I like straight up stovetop. Doesn't bother me at all. Arnold does the vegan shit. Like I'm sorry, everything I say about eat food is vegan. So it's like I'm very used to it personally, but I know how weird it can sound to somebody who doesn't think about it all the time like I do. Let's see. I think I can forget what this shoe actually looked like. I'm gonna try and do their outfits. Not necessarily their outfits that were like all consistent on the same night, but their most iconic outfits from this story. And I guess I need to be the judge of that. That's a high heel. High heel for Hannah. I like to do pencils digital because I like to fuck around with the details, and it's another reason, like the energy loss that I was talking about. When I initially draw something, I do not pay much attention to modeling or anatomy or consistency of any kind, and as because of that, I get the most energy. I get the emotion that I'm looking for. And then I start to tighten it up, and I start to realize, like, oh my God, this arm is miles off from where it would correctly be. And then I make those fixes. But hopefully by then I've already gotten the energy down the way that I want it. This might end up being 2 streams. I'm like looking at it now. It's like, okay, well, I'm still just working on the first character, and I'm hoping to, have dinner tonight. So I will probably do more than one stream to finish this baby. So welcome to part 1 of that. Stuffing, right. Anyway, I like Arnold. That's my go-to. Arnold. What a dullard. And yet, I love him. Okay. Anybody traveling for the holidays and like using their mom's computer right now? Hi, Beanie. Let me read this one. Recently started working on a long-form, character-driven comic series after spending years only working on shorter-form stuff. I worry that after putting all the time into building up a story, I'm going to get tired of my own characters. Did you ever struggle with this while working on OP? I mean, I kind of like in the early years, I kind of wrote defensively where I was like, I was worried about, I don't know if I was worried about getting tired of my characters, but I was definitely worried about like writing myself into a corner and then feeling like, oh my God, this whole thing is so stupid. I've like gone to so much trouble, just for something so bad. So I definitely wrote like easily resolved, back to status quo stories because I didn't want to have to, like, I don't know, own the stupid crap that I came up with. So that's why like the early years of OP are like pretty sitcom-y and nothing of great consequence takes place. So I was worried about that. Worried about being tired of my own characters. I mean, it's happened in the past when I was in high school and college. I had 2 webcomics that I abandoned because I was just too young to really, commit to them. And by the time I was a couple years in with each one, I didn't really identify strongly with the characters anymore. So I let them go. I think by the time I got to Octopus Pie, I was, confident enough to give the characters a good start and develop them in a way that would keep me interesting. And I mean, that's why, like, ultimately the characters do change because I did need to keep it interesting. I couldn't just write, Grumpy Eve and Stoner Hannah forever. Like, it would really embarrass me if I had just, if I'd had to stick to that. And, like, why would anybody stick to drawing a webcomic that, embarrasses them? I mean, it does embarrass me, but there's change. Like you can chart the change of the comic, and that I'm not ashamed of that. So I think that may be the strategy that has worked out best over time is just allowing it to become what you want it to be. Like, you're just never going to get that exactly right from the beginning. I mean, there are some stories where, everything is just fully realized from the start, and God bless those people. I don't know how they come out so strong from the gate. I really don't. But I've never really gotten anything right on the first try like that. And I think it's, it's a little gift to yourself to be able to say, this is just, even though I'm putting it out there for all to see, this is still kind of just a rough draft of what, it's a prototype of what it's going to be. And I'm going to allow it to become whatever it becomes. And that's okay. And, maybe that doesn't really fly when you're, you're crafting a commodity for somebody else. But if you're just doing your own comics, like, let them change. I think that's totally fine. Um, as far as going from like, you know, gag a day to committing to more long form stories, I worry about that too. And I worried about it with this last comic because it's 57 pages. I've never actually done anything this long before. It's like kind of the closest I've done to a graphic novel before, which makes me think like, oh, I kind of used to think I wasn't capable of that. But now that I've done it once, I feel like maybe I could. Like maybe I could write a longer story. Maybe I could make a graphic novel. I don't need to have this gag a day stuff. I actually think, wow, I have a lot to say about this. I actually think, I was thinking about this because I was like reading some web comics, you know, just like trying to find stuff that is interesting to me. And I got really frustrated reading this one that I thought was like pretty cool. And then I read a little bit and I was like, it falls into this trap that um, I can't claim to have not fallen into this trap myself, where because of like the sort of slow daily pace it goes at, and the fact that there's an audience seeing it. And this was like this web comic that I was looking at was a long form, but I think like this applies to like any web comic, you know, whether it's gag a day or like there's some continuity or whatever. Um, People get like a little like because it's so daily and because people are commenting all the time. I feel like the author sort of loses sight of how well they've actually established the characters and thinks that people know them better and that the comic has proven itself more and the characters have been sold more than they actually have. So I see a lot of people, you know, posting web comics where, you know, they're talking about all these like little details about these characters, and you know the character sort of it speaks for itself. We all know what this character is like, and it's like, dude, you've been drawing this comic, like this comic's only like 30 pages in. Like, I know to you that's months. You've been living with these characters for months. You probably created them longer than that, longer, you know, even longer before than that. It feels like you've been with them forever. It feels to some of your audience like you've been with them forever. But what about all the people who are like reading this from the beginning, um, you know, for the first time later on? What do they think of these characters just kind of like being presented as if they're already your favorite? I feel like webcomics really suffers from that. And that's sort of the opposite problem, I think, than the one you're suggesting, is that people just get too, they give themselves too much credit, and they think they've done the heavy lifting already, and it's like, you know, people don't fall in love with these characters overnight. They really don't. Maybe they fall in love with a drawing because they can project their own ideas about that character onto themselves. Maybe they fall in love with an archetype. And you know, that's probably what you need in the beginning to sell a character. Like, you know, Eve is grumpy and Hannah's a stoner. Like, they're archetypes. They're opposites, and they play off of each other. But ultimately, that's not who they are, and that's not what people love about them. That's not what people have internalized about these characters, and it's not why they worry about them and, you know, want to know what's going on in their lives. So I think a long form story is an excellent opportunity to really personally get to know the characters and the actual stakes of your story, and you may not know that right away, but you simply must try, because what are you going to get if you don't do it? You're like, I mean, you know, I had a lot of students who had, like, you know, their OCs, and they had never put them in a story before. They'd never given them a vehicle for all of the things that they know are so wonderful and charming about their characters. And it's like, I'm sorry, but I don't see it, because you've created no vehicle for these characters to like live and grow and be fully realized. Like, there needs to be a story. They can't just be like, uh, you know, I speak for myself. I am going to be your new favorite character. You're going to cosplay as me at Comic Con. Ain't I cute? Like, fuck you. I'm so sorry. I just, I don't buy it. Like, for a character to for the machinery of the story to fall away, and for a character to become real and alive, you just got to live with them for a little while, and you just got to commit to that idea that you just have to live with them for a while and see where they go and see where your story takes them. There's no shortcut to that. So go for it. I mean, I think that's really cool that you're I'm sorry, Beanie, you've probably already fallen asleep. I've been telling this, I've been going on and on about this, but I think it's great that you're expanding out into that and taking that chance, even though uh, uh, you have reservations about it, especially because you have reservations about it, because I think that's the only way. It's the only way. If that's what you want to do, then this is how you have to do it. I really want Larry to look like an absolute slob in a rented tuxedo here. I also find that with Octopus Pie, these characters, when they fall in love with each other, it has to be because we know what they love about that other character. So it helps to sell the character to the audience, but also to the other characters. I should hit save once in a while. All right, I'm done answering that question. Let's see. Traveling to bed after eating too much leftover ham. I still have a bit of my voice left, so if anybody wants to ask another question, I'll see if I can talk about it. Okay, I'm actually hitting save. Drop some webcomic recs. What have I read? Well, I don't want to name the comic I was reading that I thought looked cool and then ended up disappointing me. That would be very mean. God, I don't know. I don't pick up a lot of new webcomics, honestly. I've been it's just like, I don't know. I know they're out there. I know there's some good shit out there, but I just, I've been more interested in like kind of studying the masters lately. I've been collecting art books, and I just got one by Topi, which I was not familiar with his work at all, and it's so good. It's so incredible. His ability to render ink, characters and inks, characters, environments, anything, moods in inks are just like unparalleled. Real masterclass shit. There we go. Topi. I got a Mike Mignola book that has it has like his grayscale inks scans, so you can see the like kind of the direction the lines were drawn, and you can see his whiteout marks, which is always just really fun. Let's see if I can get a good Tommy face here. I love when babies have like crossed eyes, but I haven't really found. I actually kind of prefer doing a walleye for Tommy. Something like this. Maybe a little lip, a little cheek I can't decide. Probably going to come back to this one. Last time I had streaming, I had COVID. How the like? Well, I'm fine. I mean, do I look like I still have it? Do I look like I have long COVID? No, I got better really fast. It was fine. Yeah, it's all decentralized. I wish I had the time to curate that stuff. I really do. Like, I wish I could start like a publishing company or something, but maybe someday. I do want. I mean, you know, I'm no big fan of Webtoon or Tapas or any of those hyper consolidations of webcomic content. Oh right, I have Will's hand here. He's just holding Tommy's head in place so he doesn't tip. Yeah, I don't know. You know, in my fantasy, everybody would go back to having their own website, but I know that's not ever going to happen. It's just going to look like something else. There is a fondness in you know, people's hearts for the age of the website, but obviously we can't go back. We can only look to the future. But I really would like. I mean, there was a documentary called Stripped. I don't know how many of you have seen that, but Dave Kellett made it back in like 2010, 2012. Oh, I might have that totally off. It might have been, I think it was around then. Anyway, it was about the webcomic scene at the time and this idea of, you know, comic creators taking things into their own hands and being their own business people. And at the time, uh, a lot of the alt guys who, you know, they had a system that worked for them up until that point, and a lot of the syndication guys, they had a system. And I forget who, but somebody called, you know, somebody says like the syndication model is a gem. Like you can't replace it. Once you start giving comics away for free, all that money that the syndication model manages to retain by you know, having the ad the ad revenue and the newspapers and the connections and you know, these long-term partnerships with media publications. Once you go outside of that system, all the money drains away, and that was true. That was true. However, there were a lot of people getting rich, or, you know, more to their liking, making a living, and, you know, not needing to worry about getting rich, just being able to do what they wished, instead of following the old model where, yes, they had the potential for more widespread cultural impact, but they had no freedom, and their schedule was brutal. They had to draw 7 comics a week, no breaks, and that was a, you know, for a lot of these people, it was a lifetime contract. And you know, there's all kinds of other reasons. You know, obviously, this system favored men, and demographically, the syndicates were not really interested in any sort of diversity among creators or characters or anything like that. So there are many reasons why we moved on from this shit. And people, and, you know, the people who had thrived within that system, or, you know, struggled to be a part of it, were not very happy when it dissolved, when they saw the end of it coming. And I think we're there again, where, you know, people like me are like, man, I wish we could go back to the old way. And obviously that's not possible. And, you know, I don't like social media very much. I use it because that's how I can find my audience. That's how I can connect with them. But if I had a choice, I would not be on there all day. And I tend to not be on there unless I've got, like, you know, something new that I want to tell people about. But um, you know, I am at a point where, like, I'm a parent. I've got a life outside of the internet, and I would really prefer if I could just never talk to anybody until I've got until I've got something to show, and then I have a system in place for you know, seamlessly getting that that material to the person who needs to see it, seamlessly getting it into book form or any, you know, any other form I'd like to see it in. And you know, I would just love to have all the work except the work of making the comic taken care of for me. And I've definitely, you know, I've had a lot of help over the years with that stuff, and I try not to concern myself with as much of like the hustling and the you know, the self-starter stuff that I used to do. But you know, I'm fully in control of these things, so I'm also responsible for much of them, including making sure that people remember that I exist, and frankly, assigning importance to the work that I've already done, because usually a publisher does that, and I kind of have to do it myself. I have to remind people that my work is out there, and that, you know, I mean, hopefully they know that it means something to them, but I have to, you know, I have to present it in a way that doesn't make it hard for them to remember that it means something to them, and that, you know, maybe they think there's some cultural capital to it. I would like that. You know, I would like for people to one day have like a big, beautiful hardcover of everything I've ever made. And for somebody other than myself to be writing beautiful, beautiful copy on that book, talking about why it's important. But what was I talking about originally? I don't fucking remember. How the fuck did I get to this? Anyway. The baby is never looking at the same thing as everybody else. The baby is doing his own thing, and will be for quite a while. And really will never be doing what these people are doing. He'll go off and do his own thing when he's an adult. But what these people are doing is their shit, not the baby's shit. I'm gonna have to figure out what I mean to do with Larry here. I'm gonna maybe look at some photographs to figure out how the folds of the suit go when some sleazy guy goes like that with his tux. Did you have the other side and Eternal all planned out at the end of the main story? No, definitely not. When I ended the comic, I felt I had told everything that I wanted to tell. You know, I saw Octopus Pie as a story about being in your 20s, and I did not really wish to expand on that. Uh-oh. Who's coming up here?
Mom, you okay?
Oh, I'm fine, dear. I'm just doing a stream.
Oh,
Okay.
cool.
So please don't touch anything, okay? I'm just doing a drawing here.
Of octopus pie?
Yes, of octopus pie. Do you want to say hi to everyone on the stream?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can say hi. They can hear you.
Hi.
That's my son, Oscar. He's a very sweet boy. And he is so far not being very chaotic, so oh, look, they're saying hi to you. Hi, Oscar. He's just watching the chat room.
Licking the jam off his face.
Licking the jam off his face. He just had a snack.
How are you doing?
Ah, he wants to know how you're all doing. We have to wait for them to type an answer. Oh, somebody says they're doing great. Beanie Tuesday says, I'm doing great. Oh no, 2.5 Scums is sick. You can tell them that you hope they get well soon.
I hope you get well
Oh, that's Will. You know Will. Oh, they said thank you, darling. That's so sweet. Do you want to go hang out with Daddy a little while I finish this drawing, and then you and me can hang out for a bit?
Yeah, we can hang out up here if you want.
He's got to touch something before.
It's all right.
Hey.
Okay, Button Man. You ready? You want to get me?
I'll see you soon, Pumpkin.
Well, I'm gonna get you.
Oh no!
Oh boy. Oh, so sweet. Will my books get republished on Topatoco? They are not published by Topatoco. They're published by Image, and I am in the process of getting volume 1 reprinted. They are still in print through Image, just not volume 1. So that's the reason that they're kind of hard to find, because I think like retailers don't bother getting the other 4 volumes because they can't get volume 1. So hopefully when that gets reprinted, you're going to see them. You're going to be able to order them at your local comic shop, and I believe they will be on Topatoco when that happens too. So look for that in the new year. It's it's going to take a little while for the books to get printed. The schedule for such things is quite long in the bookmaking industry. Everything gets made overseas, and it just takes a long time. So I will keep you guys updated on that. I have not like officially announced that or anything, but you can know that, and I will let you know when I know, because at some point we'll figure out like the diamond solicit date, and I'll be able to give that to you guys. You couldn't say hi to Oscar Fest. Well, don't worry. I mean, it's not the first time my son is going to be on the feed. He really is very, very interested in computers, which, I guess every kid finds them kind of irresistible. Flashing screens with all kinds of things that, all kinds of information and stimulation that comes from seemingly nowhere. But I try to keep him away from it for the most part. All right, let's see. Finish this whole line here. I like the idea of Eve just kind of barely being able to stand on her toes here next to her 2 larger friends, or at least her friends who wear heels. I feel like every drawing of Marigold has like 50 undos because the head shape is just too weird. I don't even know if I want her to have this face. She looks really tired. You look tired. The kind of thing that would hurt her feelings if you said it to her. Oh my god. All right, so now Heidi is just bathing, which she always does when she's like calmly sitting next to me. She just starts licking every part of her body. So we get to hear that on the stream. Thanks, Heidi. Really cool. Afraid to turn the screens on around your 4-month-old because she'll just stare at them until they're turned off. Oh, I know. Yeah, I fortunately I have a kid who's very, very interested in books, and I'm able to direct his attention to books for long periods of time. He focuses on them quite a bit. So we're able to mostly keep him off that stuff. I have an extremely rationed amount of video game time. He can play like basically 30 minutes one day a week. Otherwise, he just he gets obsessed. He has a emotional gamer moment, and I can't raise a pissed off little gamer. I can't do it. should I talk about? What should? I mean, there's no should. What shall I talk about? Just gonna color in Eve's hair just so I can start to imagine the black and white balance. How's station to station going? Well, you know, obviously I went pretty quiet while I was finishing up this comic, but I've still been working on it, and I have some freelancers who are just like, you know, they're working on regular schedule with it while I was busy with this, and it's quite nice. I'm you know, I'm still working on the first act, so it's going to be a while, but a lot of like the mechanics and the UI and the environments that are going to be used for the rest of the game come together now, so that it's going to be a lot faster, I think, with the future seasons than this one. I don't know about this drawing of Jane. I think like actually this pose where Marigold's kind of touching her chin is like perhaps a little too sensual for a wedding photo that's not your wedding. But I kind of think it's cute. Jane looks like a little puppy. She looks like Heidi when I'm petting her while driving or like doing something else, and she just gets like a little bit of attention from me, and she's just like probably mess with the faces a little more once I'm finished here. I hate to switch back to Thanksgiving food, but have you ever had a celebration roast? Any thoughts on them? Is that the tofurkey one? Or like who makes that one? I know I've seen that one. Like I think that's the tofurkey one. I don't think I've ever had one. Or if I did, it was a very long time ago when I was like vegetarian in college, and the vegan food just was not as good as it's gotten in the last few years. Normally, before I got into making my own, oh, that's cute. She's got like a little more hair here than usual. Normally, before I was making my own roasts, I was doing like the garden roast, which is like, it used to be good, but it's kind of dropped in quality, honestly. But like the first year I went vegan in like 2015, I had that garden roast for Thanksgiving, and I was like, I think I can do this because this tasted pretty good, and I got through Thanksgiving without being like super depressed. So, you know, hard to ask for more than that, you know. Should Jane's head be a little bigger? She's kind of. Oh, I'll have to answer that in a bit. Yeah, no, I don't know. Tofurkey is like kind of, it's one of those like, you know, they've been around a while. I think they've been around since like the 80s, maybe even earlier than that. And they've improved their formula. But, you know, vegetarian food used to be like really disgusting. And, you know, I mean, you know, it was just what it was. It was people who did not care about the quality. They cared about the ethical choice that they had made. And, you know, certainly that was motivation for me in the 2000s, the first time I went veg, but it just didn't stick because, I mean, you know, I was at a different place in my life, but also the food just wasn't as good. So it's been a lot easier this time around finding delicious things. I've been vegan now for 7 years, and I never really think about going back. I'm quite satisfied at this point. But yeah, I mean, I've been moving away from the pre-made vegan meat. I do eat the turkey deli slices sometimes when I just, I can't like make seitan, which is like a pretty elaborate, afternoon of cooking. So I'll eat like the deli slices and those are fine. And they have a lot of protein. Oh, okay. So all right. I didn't even read your second line there where you said it was terrible. No, it probably was disgusting. They're very rubbery and gross. If it's the one I'm thinking of, then yeah, it is just not. It's not going to taste like. It's not. First of all, it's not going to taste like turkey, but it's not going to actually taste good either. You may as well just eat a really delicious plate of vegetables or. A veggie burger, something that actually is like meant to taste good. A veggie burger at Thanksgiving would be tremendously depressing, though. I think the garden roast, if you don't want to cook, is quite good. It has like stuffing inside of it, like it comes with stuffing, and it's pretty easy to set up. You put it in like maybe an hour before dinner time. It's tasty, but now that I've made this roast with like the crafting seitan book, I'm hooked. This is the shit. This is the real shit, and it's pretty elaborate, but no more so than cooking a turkey. You'd eat a celebration roast on purpose. Have you been vegetarian for a very long time? Yeah, 2006 celebration roast was like as good as it gets. Sorry, my sister's texting me. Oh, okay. Just want to make sure that she's not being like, hey, get off your fucking feed and listen to this important thing I need to tell you. Yeah, it's often what's available. Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same for my husband. He's not vegetarian, but he eats the vegan food because me and Oscar do, and I thank him. I thank him endlessly for that kindness. Give Jane these cute little like exposed ankles and dress shoes, right? Good look. Something like that. You work in the Trader Joe's freezer section and there's seasonal vegan turkey roast. Low seller, yeah. Trader Joe's does have some good shit though. My sister works there and she's a vegan and she knows all the good shit. And the bulgogi, the like beefless bulgogi is legit. That is some good stuff. I love that. But yeah, I think a lot of that stuff people find it hard to trust because they are, they don't want to ruin their holiday with a bad meal. I don't know what I'm going to do with this hand here. I don't think this hand actually works. I just wanted to, oops, sometimes I delete the entire thing by accident. It's fun. I didn't want Jane's hand to look the same as Hannah's, just like draped. So I got to think about what that might look like instead. Oh yeah, that soy chorizo is incredible. I love that it's just been around for years and they've never changed the formula. And I really like their oops. I really like their super firm tofu. Really good. I'm always looking for ways to get protein, so that's awesome. That's cool that you're vegan. Every day is Beanie Tuesday for you, right? Yeah, like the last 5 to 10 years, it's true. There have been, I feel like yeah, I'm gonna have to do something different with this Jane hand. I don't want it to look just like Hannah's, but for now, I'm just gonna put it over here. We'll figure it out in a bit. Yeah, in the last few years, all the like food science bros have gotten all over vegan food, and maybe that'll change because it does seem like, I don't know. There was some article in the New York Times. I'm so sorry to everyone who doesn't give a shit about this. There's an article in New York Times the other day that's like, Beyond's not doing well. Is that the end? And it's like, well, you know, at a certain point, if all you make is like a pretty okay ketchupy tasting fake hamburger that doesn't really taste like beef but is only like a little impressive, people are going to stop buying that. Vegans are going to stop buying it because eventually they just figure out how to make their own thing. And meat eaters are going to stop buying it because their curiosity has been satisfied. So, yeah. Yeah, no, it probably could. It is possible to overcook that stuff and just turn it into like a hockey puck. All right, let's see if I can get this the way I want it. I'm trying to do both a pose of like Eve's foot, like shifting her weight to one foot, like also just standing on her toe and wrapping this foot around it. Let's see if it looks correct. It looks correct in my sketch. It's like a little ballerina. I think that works okay. What else should I talk about? I'm almost done with this drawing. It's getting there. Oh my God, Oscar. I can't believe he came in here and started chatting with the room. I'm so charmed. He, you know, that stuff can occasionally descend into chaos. You have to be very on the defense. Where is that opening? But he was a very good boy just now. I'm sorry for doubting him. There we go. Wow, look how handsome Sean is. What a big boy in his big boy suit. The least handsome Octopus Pie character, Puget Sean, probably. He's just not. He's just got a little boy face. All right, let me see if I can. See, I don't actually know if this is going to work. Is Marigold's arm even long enough to wrap itself around Jane's face? I don't know. Maybe not. Does it need to? Does it need to be there? I don't know. I thought it was a cute idea that she's like, you know, in ecstasy at being touched. But it's not necessary. But I don't know what to do with her arm otherwise. I'm going to have to think about it for a minute. Was there an Octopus Pie character that you loved the most out of the cast? I don't know, because they're all sort of incomplete without each other. They're all different, you know, facets of my own personality. So to love one of them the most would be to love one aspect of myself the most, but every aspect of myself requires the others. I was like, I mean, I don't want to get too into this, too inside baseball with like what these characters represent to me, but I was talking to my husband about how he, bless him for listening to me talk about this shit. He loves it. He loves when I talk about myself and my work to him. I was talking to him about, you know, what these characters are to me and, you know, what parts of me they represent. And I think Hannah is kind of a raw talent, and as such is kind of a cold person because she steamrolls everyone else in favor of the ideas she has, her ideas and her need to create and her need to you know, do things with her hands and like be Hannah. And Eve is kind of like my soul a little bit. She's like a soulful character who you know, I don't actually know how to describe it any better than that. She's kind of able to absorb you know, observations of the world around her and find like poignancy in them. I feel like that's the character. She radiates what's poignant about the experience of living. This might sound, I have no idea if any of this sounds coherent at all. But and then Marigold would be kind of like, she's like shame manifested. She's just all the things that are embarrassing or, you know, pitiful that I see in myself. That character seems to absorb. But then, you know, with that shame is all the, you know, the ability to like be vulnerable and like, you know, open to what life has to offer. And anyway, what I'm getting at is like none of these characters can really function on their own. They need those other facets. And oh my god, I can't believe I'm talking about this. What am I gonna do with her hand? I don't fucking know. I have her holding a bag. That sucks. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll try this Jane thing again. Let me see if I can make it work. I'll bring her up just a bit. Again, I'm going to spoil the story a little bit. If you haven't read the story yet, I don't know why you're on the feed, but the reconciliation, the need for Hannah and Marigold to not be friends, and then their reconciliation comes with like, you know, a reconciliation of the shame that Hannah refused to feel for like a certain period of her life that she now feels, and that she now allows herself to feel. I still don't know if this is working. I'm just trying it out. I just want to see how it looks in the entire drawing. It still looks a little forced just because the arm would have to be so long to do that. I just don't know. Maybe like just the tips of her fingers, which is like, again, it may be just like, how dare you do that in somebody else's wedding photo, right? It's kind of evil. It's evil. It's evil. Does Oscar usually hang out with me when I'm working on projects? I feel like I would have never left the room as a kid if my mom made art. He does hang out with me sometimes, more than he used to. It used to be like impossible. It used to be totally impossible to get anything done with him in the room, and now it's sort of possible. Like I can ink a comic. Like he doesn't mess with my pages anymore. He's a very good boy, and sometimes if I'm inking, he wants to ink too. So like one day I gave him like some of my pencils and I let him like ink them. You know, it's just a printout. And Other days, he just brings his notebook over and he just starts drawing with me, and I give him some of my pens and we draw together. And it's pretty wonderful. And then sometimes, he's off doing his own thing and I'm working in the room with him. So it varies from day to day. We're still feeling it out as family who cohabits and spends all their time together. But when I'm like, when I'm writing, when I'm doing anything where I have to think, I simply cannot be around him because he hogs all the air. He needs to. He's 4. Bunny ear fingers, yeah, classic 90s. You read my comics since middle school? Oh, that's so sweet. I've talked about this a bit lately because it's only very recently that people have been telling me that they read my comic when they were like 13, 14. And that's understandable. Like, I did not have a way, thankfully, I did not really have a way to talk to children. Children who were reading my comics in 2007 or whatever, were then not communicating with all the adult authors who make comics. Like, and my husband goes through something similar where he makes books for children, and he never knows what they think about them until much later, because you know correctly, you don't really talk to children online when you're an adult. And when he does go to like an in-person event or an event for children, he sees them and it's like, whoa, there's a lot of kids who like this. So suffice to say, I've been really delighted to hear from all these all these adults who were kids, because I didn't think about it at the time. I knew kids must be reading it, but I did not think about them, and I didn't really realize that they were out there until pretty recently, and that's so cool. It makes me very happy that I kept the webcomic free for as long as I did, and I mean, it continues to be free, and that it's still available for people to read for free, because kids can't necessarily buy their own comics, and they'll seek out what's available to them. So I am glad that I was able to do that when they were little, when they had no money, and they there was a limit to what they could get their hands on. Oh, I'm really glad to hear that. It's really cool that it meant something to you then, and that you are getting something out of it now that you're older. That's nice. All right, I wanted to look up. I wanted to look up like a stock picture. A man pulling on suit collar. No, I don't want the collar. I want the this part. What's that called? Lapel. All right, I'm seeing a little bit of that. I don't know why I think this is so hard to do. I could just have him have an open suit, and he's pulling on one of his lapels. Yes. Well, I hope I've articulated all this shit the way I would like to articulate it, because it is being recorded. And that's that. I have to hold myself to it forever now. How do suits work? Just looking at handsomeman.jpg. All right. Well, I'm probably gonna wrap this up pretty soon. Which side does a man's? I feel like it's that. I don't know. Which side does a man's vest go? It clips on the left. Okay. Or on the right. Larry is a little fatter than I'm making it seem. And also, he wouldn't have his sleeve rolled up here. He's wearing a jacket. If you act like you own it, people will think you're a fashion icon. Oh, that sounds about right. Okay. I'll take some time to correct this before I do the printout for the next stream. All right. Yeah, I'll do those details later. What do we think? And then I'm gonna I'm not gonna write Smeg on the on the final thing, but Sean and Meg. I'm gonna do that typesetting on the computer, so it looks properly home goodsy. This vest should drop down a little bit more. No Smeg. Isn't Smeg? Doesn't Smeg mean something disgusting though? Isn't it like dick cheese? Right? Smegma. Smegma. Okay. It's a little close, isn't it? You know, you gotta toe the line where it's like, look, Sean is a joke, but he's a little self-aware. He's not a total moron. Smeg is a kitchen brand. Smeg is an in-universe swear on Red Door. Okay, my husband did tell me that, and he was very embarrassed to tell me that, so I feel like you know, I kind of like the touching Jane's face thing. I think I'm gonna improve that drawing a little bit, but I think I'm gonna keep it. My main issue now is that there's like this extra space between Eve and Sean that I don't really like. I feel like something has to go there, but I don't know what it would be. I could probably, you know, fill it with a shadow. But then the shadow would also be here. It's probably okay. Fancy kitchen appliances, which they're going to be getting from their registry, right? I think, you know, I'm probably just going to do like Sean and Meg. You know, something like that. And then just, you know, have little signatures and, you know, stuff written over here. Just some shit like that. Just so it looks like you know, one of those little guest boards you've got at a wedding. Okay. Anything anyone wants me to talk about before I end the stream? I will probably do another one where I ink this, like maybe tomorrow, sometime in the near future. I feel like the scaling on some of these characters needs to be fixed. I think Hannah needs to be a little bigger. These are the things that digital penciling just makes so much easier. And then I feel like there might need to be a black element on this side. So maybe I'll give Will black pants or something, because there's like Sean black, Jane, and Eve's hair. So there needs to be something black over here. Maybe Will's pants. Give him like a better silhouette. something like this, but then I don't know if it'll work. Oh, you know what? I didn't put Merrick in this picture. I just realized. What the fuck? That's stupid. I guess I should put Merrick in this picture. I could put him over here. That would be kind of unfair to have him in the back like that. None of you told me. Yeah, I think that works to have Will with black pants. All right, well, maybe that's what needs to go in between Eve and Sean, but that is probably going to be, I'm just going to draw them in real quick and see if I can make it work. I mean, all right, if I moved, oh, I'm so frustrated that I didn't think of this earlier. Okay, let's say I move all these babes over so that, you know, Eve is like resting on Sean a little bit less. And then, yeah, I would make her arms shorter, obviously. And then it wouldn't seem so much like she was leaning her chin on him, which is, you know, would probably make Sean very uncomfortable because, sorry, ladies, he's taken. But is Merrick going to be making the groom look bad by standing right next to him? Yeah, I don't know if it'll work. I feel like I could do that, but that's like, yeah, no, I mean, it's obviously for symmetry reasons, it doesn't work. I can make him, see, if I make him any taller, it's going to look weird too, but I guess I could try. And then he could be, you know, he could have a hand around Eve too, I suppose. Oh, this is getting busy. Yeah, it kind of looks busy. I don't think. Yeah, Tommy does make 4 on the right. I gotta think about this. I gotta think about this. I don't think it's working. How can I make it work? I feel like I'm on the right track, but maybe off to the side a little bit. But he looks like an afterthought. I mean, I could do the little, you know, hand gesture down here, but it just, yeah, doesn't look right. He's not part of the layout. I guess he could be clowning on Sean. But would Merrick do that? Seems mean. I don't know. Is Sean's wife a previously seen? Yeah, we do see her at the very end of the series. She's just become his girlfriend at the very end, and he talks about her a little bit, and then she leaves the party telling Hannah that they're all so nice. And then she immediately leaves the state with him. I could probably move Eve just a little more over. Yeah, digital art. This is what it's good for. Not much else. I think this might still work. Okay. So give Eve her cheek back. And this will be much shorter. And we'll just see way more of her body. I like Follow Your Friend to Work Day too. That's one of my favorites. I like that it's like mandated by it's like the Society for Indulgence of White People or something like that. All right. I think this might work actually. He's a little in the background, but we can see him pretty clearly now. And it, you know, it stands to reason that he's chummy with Eve. So maybe, you know, that they're close to each other. But he also does look very tall back there. That part I am worried about. Maybe he's also standing on his toes. And then his other foot would be over there. It's just strange. He's bigger than he's ever come across. That's a little better. I think this might have to be it. Right there. That's the only place he's going to fit. And hopefully it won't crowd the drawing too much. The drawing was made longer, so I could move them even a tiny bit more, I guess. Oh, boy, did I make a little puzzle for myself here. How long have we been streaming? Hour and 20? All right, that's not so bad. Yes, it matches life. That's right. They get crowded like that. Okay. All right. I'm going to move just a tiny bit more. And then he looks a lot less hidden, I think. And is horning in on Sean just a little less. And yeah. Yeah. Eve's hand she can be hanging off of Sean over here. Like, it'll be okay. And then let's see if I can get the legs to look the way I want. Something like that is probably going to be okay. Yes, of course he's a gentleman. He wants Eve to be in front. Okay. All right. May as well clean it up. Take a couple minutes and just make this what it's supposed to be. And then I'll call it quits. I don't want to lose this Eve pose because I think it's cute. Kind of just, her body is just kind of going to be a straight line. Yeah, I think that works. What do we think? Is Merrick going bald first? I think he can handle it. Like, I think of all the men, his self-esteem can handle it the best. He'll be the most okay with it. I think as long as we can see most of Merrick's mouth, that really keeps him unhidden. I don't want him to look like a little devil. I don't know why I'm... Nah, he can just have a closed mouth smile. I think for him, I think I'd put him in a sweater. Sweater with like the collars sticking out. Real cute. Cute dad shit. Okay. I feel like you would see a little bit of his little foot coming through here. And then would you see, it's so busy over here. Tech support help. Oh, thank you. Yes. Okay. Still happening to you. If I click the next comic again, error. All right. Well, I just migrated everything, so that makes sense. Maybe it would be stupid if Merrick was just like draping his hand over Eve's head. That might be cute. I do like, you know, obviously all of these drawings need to convey something about the character, or what's the point of having them in the picture? You know, it should convey their relationship to each other and you know, a little bit about their personality. One of those things, at least. All right, I think I managed this one. I think crisis averted. We got him in. No one will ever be the wiser that I forgot. All right, let's see. Well, that solves the problem of here, let me get rid of that shadow. We don't need it anymore. That solves the problem of what to put in that area between Eve and Sean. Actually, I might actually shorten Sean and Meg if I can get away with it, just so everyone's kind of more on the same plane. I think I can get away with that. There'll be a whole paragraph about this in the omnibus, sure. Okay. I think this is pretty good. I'm pretty satisfied with it. I'm actually gonna lengthen even Merrick. If I can get away with it, it's gonna lengthen them just a tiny bit more, bring them down. Yeah, I mean, Eve's kind of a little rubber band here. All right. Real quick now, I'm just gonna see if I can fix this drawing a little bit. I know it's going to make me insane, but just gonna try. And sometimes you just get it in one go, and sometimes you just ruin your life trying to figure it out. There's got to be a slight bend. And sometimes you fix it in digital when you're really not able to figure it out. And sometimes it literally only fucking matters to you and nobody else. Nobody else knows what you're upset about. All right. I think I'm okay with that. I'm all right with that. Look for the pixel art, homies. Oh, yeah. No pixel art today. Sometimes I do pixel octopus pie stuff. Let me see if I have any. I wanted to show you guys concept. I did some concept shit in pixel. Let me see what I got. I've been working on this story for a long time, so I used to sketch more in pixel. Okay, yeah, I've got one or two. I'll show you guys. Let me figure them out before I share my screen. Okay, I'll just show you these two. Hannah's foot in a strappy heel. She was never meant to wear them, right? But you know, you can't just wear Chucks your whole life. You can't wear Chucks to a wedding. Everyone sees right through that. You gotta it's gotta be a lady eventually. Okay. All right, I'll show you these two real fast. Share my screen. No, thank you. I don't need hints. Hints. Twitch stream. Nonsense. Okay. All right. So these are some of the early ones. I don't think you can really see the pixel art aspect of it until you get close up. So I kind of just did like one drawing each of every character. And these were like at the very beginning of the idea. And then I've got this one of the baby. I had kind of a different idea for him. I'm sorry, this is so rude. Just like full on showing his fruit basket to you. I thought he was going to be hairier at first. So these were like the early sketches of the baby. So anyway, that's what I've got right now. I'll put those up somewhere, maybe on like Instagram at some point. Okay, should I print this thing out? Should I just print it out? I'll show you guys how I do my print out process. It's easy. It's easy. I don't know why you care whether it's easy or not. All right, so first of all, I'm going to center this, right? And drop down the opacity to like 10. And print this. Sorry, I have to get all the settings right. So I print this. I use a Brother. I print on Ledger or Tabloid, and I use a Brother multifunction to do these. All right, so I'm just gonna. Hopefully, I have a page of paper left. I've been shopping them up. I did like a lot of corrections at the very end. Okay, I have a piece of paper here. this through. And, oh, you can actually see all of this. Great. Okay, I think it's ready to go. The magic of cartooning. I spend a lot of time just sitting right here, waiting for the object to come out. All right. So then I get something like this, and it's like very light, but just dark enough that I can see it. And then I just ink right over this, and it looks fine. I'll show you a finished page. Let's see. Here's Hannah's toast. You can kind of see the blue a little bit. It's very subtle. And I print out, I usually do the lettering on computer, and I don't know if you'll be able to see this, but I print out the lettering as a guide for myself as to where to hand letter. Yeah, you're probably not able to see it. And then, yeah, I print out a lot of the black as like a guide for where to do my fills, and just so I can kind of see the black and white balance before I start inking. Just so I know I like the way it looks. And that's about it. So, all right, I will do another stream either tomorrow or Sunday where I'm going to ink this illustration. And maybe I'll see you guys there. Thank you for joining me for this one. And I hope you have a good ass night. Bye.